Hello, my name is Elise, and welcome to this interview with Arik Gorban, one of our artists presently on display at the Alpha Art Gallery's exhibition Shift in Nature. We will be going over some of his artistic process, as well as the pieces he graciously contributed to our online presentations. We're going to start off pretty casual. How are you today, Arik?
Good morning, I'm well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to have my work included in the exhibition and to share my thoughts with you here.
So I'm curious to know how you choose the subjects for your artwork.
My photography is often driven by what I call personal projects. I like to plan, sometimes I go on vacations and just take pictures or go on trips, but usually I like to prepare, to plan, to think what I'm going to do. Now, a project might be a single outing, just going to the local park, going to New Brunswick or to New York or Philadelphia. It could be going a little longer trips. Some projects can take weeks or months. So I do enjoy photography road trips where I get my dog in the car, my cameras, and we go on the road. I usually have specific objective in mind. So for example, my long road trips were to experience and document life in various regions of the country. Mm-hmm. South Carolina, the Midwest, multiple trips, and sometimes it's to go to New York or, as I said, New Brunswick. Sometimes it's to create floral abstracts and I go to Longwood Gardens.
What inspired you to choose photography, and do you work with other media?
So I started photography at a very young age when I was really still in elementary school. I got a camera, I got a couple of lenses. A few months later, my dad got me a darkroom, and I really started and got hooked on it. So I've been doing it for many years. I don't really try other media. So I like photography. I like that it's immediate. In the old days, I would develop the film and make the prints right there the same day. Later, I did slides. You can still get those done relatively quickly. And of course, with digital, it's very immediate.
What or who would you say is your greatest inspiration as an artist?
One of the photographers that I really like to listen to has daily and weekly podcasts. It's Brooks Jensen. He's the publisher of the Lenswork magazine. And he says that there are two types of photographers that enrich your creative work. He calls them heroes and fellow travelers. The heroes are the ones you inspire to. You don't necessarily learn techniques or the little things, but you look at the work, look at how the work impacts you, and you admire them. So you can, of course, look at Ansel Adams, Edward Weston, Galen Rowell for color landscapes, Gary Winograd, and William Eggleston. So I have a wide range of those heroes. Then there are the ones that I listen to a lot, that I watch training, that I attend in-person classes, like Joe McNally, Brooks Jensen that I mentioned, Lindsay Adler for portrait photography. And then there are like Rudy Roy and others that really do current documentary street photography.
What do you feel is specifically unique about your voice as an artist?
I'm trying to really bring or narrow the bridge or the gap between what's considered fine art photography that you'll see in museums like MoMA or other art museums around the world or high-end galleries, and the type of photography that we see a lot in camera clubs. Most camera club photographers are trained to focus on the technical aspects, on composition, the rules that you follow. They rarely focus on artwork that really expresses their feelings and creates emotional impact. When you go to the galleries, to the museums, you see work that will usually score very poorly in a camera club. But when you look at the work, you're really impressed with the impact. Yeah, technically, they may not be perfect, but they really speak. And I'm trying through my lectures in photography clubs, my presentations, when I judge competitions, I'm really trying to bring it together. I kind of, my photography, yes, I do the old barn and the nice flow in cascade, slow shutter speeds. I do those camera club things, but I also do my street photography. I do portraits. I do work that I feel has more emotional impact.
So out of all your works, which is your favorite, or which do you have a particular attachment to?
Okay, Imogen Cunningham said when she was asked a similar question, she said, what's her favorite picture? She said, the one I'm going to take tomorrow. And there's a lot truth in it, because as you do photography, you're emotionally attached to your most recent work. And even in my presentations, before every presentation, every workshop, I replace many of the images in the presentation, not because the new ones are better, but because I'm more attached to them. I speak to them with more passion. But the pictures that really speak to me, that I'm more attached to, are ones that I did in some of my street photography pictures, especially of individuals. Most of my work with strangers is not candid, but speaking to them, talking to them about their lives, talking to them about their feelings, so I do engage with people, and I've met some very interesting picture. Now, if I show you the picture, you'll see some character there, you'll see some of the story, but you don't know what took me to that. You don't know. So again, when you work as a photographer, you have to really understand the illusion of reality, because I lived it, my viewers did not. My goal is to bring as much as the feelings into the photograph, but the story behind it, you can't always do, you can rarely do. But some of my portraits, especially in the Midwest, in some small towns in Arkansas, I met especially this guy, older man, Ed. Something hard for me was, do I get out of the car? I didn't necessarily feel that this is the best area to walk out with my camera. But then when I engaged with the man, and first he was very flattered that I found interest in him. We talked for a while. His neighbors came they saw me stopping there. They came and started talking to me. I took their pictures. It was a very interesting experience. Again, when you see the picture of Ed, you may not know the whole thing. You'll definitely see the conditions he lives in. So a lot of the work is part of this bigger story, which I'll do by putting in books. And I did create books for my road trips.
So about like trying to capture a story within a picture?
Yes, and again, the pictures that will get the most likes on Facebook are very different from the pictures that I'm emotionally connected to. Of course, the pictures that I'll look at are the ones I take of my 10-month-old grandson when he makes with his expressions and stuff. I mean, they do really well when I post them, but obviously it's not going to have the same impact on you that they have on me.
Right, because you actually have a relation to that.
Yeah, and that's why it's important when I talk to photographers is to remove the illusion of reality. I lived it, it's my reality. When you look at the picture, you can only get some of it, but not the reality.
Right, photography really can't capture a relationship, right?
Yeah, and that's why when I do street photography, I rarely do candids. I like to connect with the subjects. I like to engage in a conversation. I like to learn a little bit about them and let them know why I'm taking pictures of them. And it's flattering to them. And I don't make up stuff. I don't tell them that they look pretty. If I can say, I really appreciate what you're going through, or I can really see that you've had some hard time, and they're flattered by me recognizing who they are, what they do, what they go through. And so far in my workshops, I tell people, Matt, in this. I can assure you that 9 out of 10 people will agree to have their pictures taken. And usually it's rare that I get refusals if you approach it the right way.
So you would say it's not all about exterior beauty, but more about the inherent beauty or like interior?
Oh, absolutely. It has. And this is again where sometimes when you look at camera club competitions or a lot of the posts on Facebook or Instagram, it's the same old things. I take a pretty picture of a landscape, of a flower, of a bird, of, like the, the red schoolhouse behind me. Those are the pretty pictures. Is there an emotional impact? Not so much. The storm, the snow, a little bit. But when you connect with people, when you create stories, it doesn't have to be people. On my road trips, I do a lot of, some of the streets that are either almost deserted or buildings are not in good shape, or a little different type from what a lot of people like to see on Facebook, for example.
So has the COVID-19 pandemic reshaped your process at all, and has it impacted your work in any way?
Of course, of course, because I had to cancel a 3.5 week long road trip all the way to Oklahoma.
Wow.
Again, I do it, my cameras and my dog, and we go on the road. So I had to cancel that. Hopefully I'll be able to resume my travel soon. So I do more locally. I haven't done much in the city since COVID. I love to do family pictures and newborns and all that. I don't do any photography indoors. I don't go to other people's homes now. Obviously no weddings, no bar mitzvahs. So yeah, there is some impact. I must say that my event photography, I only did a few a year, so it's not a huge impact, but not being able to be indoors with others. Until the fall, I did portraits outdoors, so even after COVID.
Yes, so it's all been outside and with nature.
Everything is outside, yes, except for my immediate family.
Great.
So my grandson is the one model that I shoot a lot.
Thank you, Arik. I don't have any more questions. However, if there's anything else you would like to add, feel free to share.
Again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm really thankful for having be able to share, and really I'm thankful that art, with the help of technology, can still connect people in times of social distancing. So obviously we are connected on Zoom. I still do a lot of my presentations, workshops, and everything using this technology. It seems like people have more time and patience for art because for certain types of arts, obviously we don't go to, to see performances in theaters and stuff like that, but definitely spending a lot of time on Zoom and similar technologies and share our art.
That's beautiful. Once again, Arik, thank you so much for speaking with us and sharing your insights on your creations.
You're very welcome. Thanks.